Hey, okay, so I wanted to talk about soulmates today to get a clearer picture on the concepts that I believe with regards to this. I feel like you should just kind of comb through my general videos. I'll put two of them down below that I've previously recorded that probably have some snippets of information, or I'll put maybe three that I feel might give a wider, I don't know, I'll put a couple links down below, but in truth, you would probably have to comb through all my videos, including the celebrity ones, to kind of find little pieces of what I'm talking about, but I'll try and condense it into this video. Okay, so when we talk about soulmates, we'll do it like this. I'll write it down. Okay, so, I'll put like soulmates, right? And then twin flames. These are like what people identify as, right? And then we have like karmic partners, soul family. What are other concepts that people use? We'll keep to this because those are the ones that are coming to my head for right now. My earrings are, for example, later. Okay, so let's start with soul family. Like, who is your soul family and what is that? And what I see with soul families is it's souls, okay? Since we are all individual souls, there are different souls that through lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes and different realities that radiate near us. So these are people that are either here in our present life or are in some other dimension, or who are just what we would see as like crossed over, which essentially is like, it's like a holding place is the way that I perceive things, where they are neither materialized as another being, they're just souls. They're not existing. I don't know where they are. I don't know where else they're existing, but it feels like they're kind of in limbo, and that their main purpose is either to understand themselves, heal themselves, be there for you. It's more singular somehow. Anyway, so that's what I see with soul families, is that they're souls that radiate close to you, energetically close to you. And so if you meet them in this life, it would be an example of someone that you just kind of feel there's a connection to, whether it's a positive or negative connection. It's like you understand them on a deeper level, or you've had dreams of them before, or sometimes you don't even recognize it, right? And so that's what I see with that. They're you share many lifetimes together, okay? When we talk about karmic partners, this can be, again, romantic or non-romantic, and it's the emphasis on karma, because they are purposely entering in your life. It's a predestined agreement between you guys that you are going to cross paths one way or another, and this is ranging in significance as to how you cross paths. Whether this is like a long-standing romantic relationship, whether it's your parent or your child, whether it's just someone that you cross the street and you like have some sort of like connection with, that's like alters your life in some way, knowingly or unknowingly. But we have many and multiple karmic partners. When it comes to relationships, karmic partners, again, karma is neither good nor bad, I feel. It's just how you perceive it, right? And the overall purpose of karma is so that you evolve. And by evolving and having life lessons, what that does for you is it allows you to understand the completion of who you are, the completion of your soul. So it would be like this ring, well, earring, but it would be like this circle. That's the circle, the wholeness of your soul. And so as you experience karma and it depends on your character, right? Like how you handle certain situations. And so the more that you develop your character in positive traits and more holier traits, in godly traits, and universally, that's the thing, is universally, if you were to strip yourself of any preconceived ideas, a lot of brainwashing that happens in other countries. I'm in the Western world, but like, well, it happens here as well. But I was thinking on like a more massive scale, like a whole other country being brainwashed. I mean, we are also conditioned and brainwashed in our own ways, but it's also compartmentalized within there too. But when you strip yourself of that and those concepts and that divisiveness and also the extremities that cause harm on people, you know, and it's the reason why I'm kind of highlighting that and a little bit tripping on my words, because like I'm sure you guys are fully aware of ways that these tactics where you think that you're doing good or you're doing things for the good of your religion or the good of your country or the good of whatever, like you have a belief system that whether it's causing harm on others or not, you are told and you believe that is actually positive, right? And so there lies the problem. It's a confusion on the reality, and so you have to develop yourself. I don't know, it gets so broad and complicated with that, and that's like so many other subjects and it would take a very long time to kind of divide up. But there's karma associated to a lot of what we experience. I'm not going to say that it's everything. Some situations around us are because of the free will of others, the choices that other people make, and their own, you know, character development or lack thereof. Even the situations that we're born into, there's not necessarily karma associated with that. It's just that a soul will inhabit that body, right? That baby, a soul will inhabit that. And as a baby is being developed, there are souls that either are predestined already to go into that body because whatever is beyond this lifetime, where they're supposed to connect with the parents or people around them, or they'll inhabit, or it'll be souls that kind of go around this. They'll look at like the likelihood of all different scenarios. Like it's like scanning this baby for all the possibilities that could happen. It's like true AI, like true intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence, it's like true intelligence, it's soul intelligence of being able to mathematically see all the outcomes that could happen and which soul is the best suited for that body. And so that is why you are who you are. because you can handle everything that's happening around you. And this is an opportunity for you. It just depends on how you perceive those opportunities or perceive your struggles. So, when it comes to romantic relationships, that could also be the fact that you're in a loving, healthy relationship, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be with a soulmate or twin flame. This karma could be to teach you how to feel loved through being loved. Genuinely, unconditionally, wholly loved. It can teach you how to feel safe, how to know that things can work out for you and will work out for you, how to be a best friend to someone. These karmic relationships that you have can teach you to be a better person to other people, or be compassionate towards other people, or to understand that there's people who can change, including yourself. There's so many reasons behind a healthy and loving karmic relationship that I think some people negate because of the limited understanding of the soulmate and the twin flame. So when I talk about soulmates and twin flame, they are one and the same to me. It's just the process of it. The twin flame I would consider to be the baby. Like, look, perceive you, right? You are an adult and yet at one point you were a baby. You are still the same person, right? That baby is not a separate person than you. Just because you've evolved does not mean that you were not once a baby. And so the soulmate is the mature and whole being that has gone through many, many lifetimes and experiences of the twin flame. The twin flame journey is the journey back into recognizing the soulmates. That's why it's called soulmates. You mate for life. Now, mating does not adhere to just this human perception of what two people do, right? It reaches beyond the love that we could ever imagine. It is the closest you can get to God's love in this limited understanding of who we are. It truly, this whole journey brings you back into being whole again and recognizing the whole. And in that, it brings you back to God. Okay? So, I wanted to explain it in another way, which is like the infinity loop that is represented with my 2 earrings. And so what we see is they can never be separated, is always linked together. And through this, in the center is this shared awareness of being together, of being whole. And yet the awareness can shrink or it can expand, right? And how it expands is through karma, it's through soul family, it's through character development, and it's through bringing yourself back into being whole. And so that is an even reflection of your soulmate. Like, you reflect one another. So as you heal, they heal too. You see, this let's say this is you and this is them, and they cannot stay stagnant. There's no way. the more that you become aware, they will become aware too. The more that you pull away, they pull away too. And that's just the way that this process is. Now, this soulmate, this twin flame, comes through in many different ways. When we talk about the human experiment, well, it is an experiment in a way, but the human experience, they are to teach you about love, to teach you about the soulmate, to teach you about all of that, in order for you to be the best whole version of yourself, so that everyone unites, everyone comes together, everyone's at equilibrium, and we see that we are never separated from God. That's where the infinity comes from. We're never separated from each other. We're never separated from God. We're never separated from nature. It's a representation. It's a representation of who we truly are. And so when we think about like evil, and we think about, I mean, I can go on for a really long time about the ways that this separation, this illusion of separation occurs. But a lot of these temptations, a lot of these, like feeling resentment, feeling hopeless, feeling anger, feeling alone, feeling worthless, feeling stressed out, or feeling self-serving, like selfish, or just like focusing on material things, that is a way to keep us separate. Because the journey of the spirit is so different than the journey of a human being, right? And like the perceptions that we have and the principles that we have, for the most part, right? Like when you really cultivate your soul, you cultivate your spirit, you nourish your spirit, that is not in alignment with what happens in the world, you know? It's completely different. So your soulmate exists as different beings. It can be your best friend. It can be your ex-lover. It can be your parent. It can be some other relative. It all varies, because to be complete, you have to understand all different facets of love. Yes, karmic partners allow that as well. But for a relationship this profound, this exists with this as well. And a lot of times, especially in this lifetime, I see the awakening of who you truly are to this person, and it being someone that you want to be in a relationship with, and yet external circumstances don't truly allow it. And what do a lot of people do? They try and assert control over that situation. They try and they obsess over the situation. They look into readings of basically spying on the other person, instead of having faith that things are where they're supposed to be, things are how they're supposed to work out. Instead of working on themselves, which brings them closer to understanding each other, they're pulling apart. They're pulling apart. They're perceiving, and they're trying to control, and controlling a situation in the spiritual sense is pulling you away from God. Feeling like you are the supreme being in a spiritual sense is leaving you void, because you have a limited understanding of what's really going on, because you're only supposed to perceive a certain amount here. And so I do feel that a lot of this evil existing in the world currently is the I was gonna say distribution, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's like commercialization of readings, of all of this, and there's no foundation. There's no, the true foundation's being lost. And it's keeping you separate. It's keeping you separate. When sometimes part of this journey is also an unrequited love. It could be unrequited love. It could be just recognizing each other. It's like your journey's not over. And yet you're trying to force something. You're trying to manipulate something. You're obsessing over something. When you aren't recognizing that there's more to the story. And I point to the karmic partner because, again, it could be that there's someone best suited for you to give you the things that you need on a soul level. Not the things that you want. Just because you feel like there's a connection there. It's not about it's not about sometimes what people think it is. Am I making sense? Kind of, sort of. So basically, like when it comes to this, it's like, okay, so what exactly am I supposed to do then? And like, how do I know if that's a soulmate? Like, is that my twin flame? Or how do I know it's not a karmic partner? Like, how can I differentiate that? To which I would respond that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is turning that into faith and inspiration for you to heal. To feel a connection like that. It's very beautiful. And true love, true genuine love does not control, and it doesn't stalk, and it doesn't obsess. It's an allowance. And that's where you see the representation in God as well. God's not controlling us. God's not obsessing over us. God's not stalking us. You know, it's like if things are really out of whack, I think that's when something might happen. An intervention might happen, more than likely. But it's this mature understanding that sometimes things have to happen. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? I'm just thinking about, like, I was just thinking about how even some of your twin flames, like your soulmate, is not even here. You know, some of you, they're not even here. They're in spirit. So you don't have that right now in this experience. And it's not a tragic thing. It's really not. But again, it's how you handle that, how you perceive that. What are you going to be proud of at the end of your life, of this decisions that you made? And what can you best do to do the right thing, right? Live with integrity. Because you wouldn't want, in truth, you wouldn't want someone to try and control you. You wouldn't want someone to, you know, stalk your mind or something like that. And place labels on you that you aren't comfortable with or you're not ready for. So the best way, if you wanted to unite with them, reunite, which again, it's the perception of reuniting. You have to first let go of expectation. Because it's not all about romance. It's beyond that. It's much more special than that. It's much more special than this human expression, can ever be. And you have to do your best to understand your best. To do your best to understand yourself so that you can be at your best. You have to live in faith that in time you will come to the realizations that you need to. That in time you will meet people who you're meant to meet. That you will be guided on this life in the way that you need to be guided. That you've chosen this life for a particular reason. And that you're here for a particular reason. And that you will find those answers at a time that best serves you. And you aren't going to cut corners. Because cutting corners will never work. Controlling it will never work. You have to allow. You have to allow it to happen. Just, again, the biggest lessons, okay, and what differentiates this brings you closer to God. This brings you closer to your whole, to your truth, because you're one and the same, but you're different. You're two different souls, but you are forever linked as one soul. I think that's why. Well, I won't get into that right now. These karmic parts, your soul family is to guide you on this path, to navigate, to get to where you need to get. Your karmic partners are supposed to help you realize your wholeness, to become better, just breaking off all the shadows of when we talk about like shadows, it's like, and light and shadows, to me, the shadow is just the parts that are devoid of God. That's all that is. It's the unawakened parts of you, or the suppressed parts of you. And, you know, even with like unrequited love, sometimes that love, that lack of, that perceived lack, right? Because this is such a short, our life is so short. Even if you live the longest healthy life, it's still short and it's limited on this. When I say limited, it's like there's so much more going on beyond this, what we're aware of right now. It's just a tiny fragment of what's existing right now, just in the grander scheme of where all the souls are. And on top of that, it's like we're giants. That's what I see. It's like our souls are giants, and this is just like our avatar. We're just our little avatars of like this experimental world. But that unrequited love for some of you is like, that breaks you open. That breaks you open. And when you really like face that head on with courage and understanding and faith and truth, then you can see like what a blessing and how beautiful that can be. And then soon enough, if what you desire is a person, and even hope, it encourages you to have hope and to have faith, and that in turn will bring, if this is what you desire is true love, then there should be a partner that will come in that will give you what they currently cannot provide for you, because they're evolving too and they're learning too. You just have to understand that you don't understand everything with regards to who you are. So that's all I have to say about that for right now. I'll probably get more into it eventually, but hope that made sense, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.